The 2015 matric results are out, and there has been a drop in the pass rate in South Africa. Now, there may be a lot of students who are slightly disappointed with their results. Now, we're joined in studio by Nola Payne from the Independent Institution for Education. She's going to tell us a little bit more about the other options that students may have in conquering life after matric. Nola, thank you so much for joining us. Now, I'm going to jump right in, and we do know that there has been a decrease in the pass rate, which means there may be students who are slightly unhappy or extremely disappointed in the marks that they have. Can you tell us what can one do after matric if their results are bad?
Well, especially, after bad results, it's probably a shock because most learners wouldn't have expected, really poor results. They obviously write the exams with the hope to do well and so on. If they have got bad results, however, there's three categories that they really fall into. Those that have failed outright, and they probably had some kind of inkling that things were going quite well for them. The second one are those learners that perhaps didn't perform as well as they thought they may, and they may have applied at a university for a degree or something and have now not met the entry requirements. Those are the ones that are going to be extremely disappointed because they may not have made alternate plans. And I'll get back to that just now.
Sure.
The third category are those learners who may qualify for supplementary exams, which I encourage them to go ahead and write. Or if they don't qualify for supplementary exams, they may just have failed one or two subjects, and again, they should carry on with that this year and complete their matric. If they don't complete the matric, obviously their options are limited as to career choices for the future. That second option that I gave you, the students that perhaps don't meet the entry requirements for, say, for example, a degree they'd applied to do. Let's say they just got diploma entrance rather than degree entrance now in the final matric exam. There are various options. They could obviously choose to rewrite some subjects to improve their marks to get into that particular degree. But there is another option available where in many degrees they have higher certificate entrance articulation. And that means if you go in and you complete a higher certificate for 2016, and they are a year long, it's like a bridging qualification, you can then articulate it to some degrees. So even if you had poorer marks in matric and not those that you were expecting, it doesn't mean that you cannot go on to do your chosen degree in the future. And obviously, there's some degrees that you can't articulate into using a higher certificate. For example, if you were applying to be become a medical doctor, they're not going to allow you to do a higher certificate beforehand to get in there because there's such demand and their entrance requirements and so on. But for the general BA, BCom, those kinds of things, it is possible.
If I'm a young student who perhaps, if we could start maybe with the rewriting process, where do I go in terms of inquiring about what subjects are available to write? And in the other instance, about which qualifications would allow for a higher certificate?
I think the first inquiry they can make if they want to rewrite is at their own school. Obviously, for various reasons, a lot of the pupils would not like to go back into their old school and have to sit in class with learners that were there the previous year with them. But they could perhaps then have options or advice on where to go for to rewrite those matric subjects. There are a number of online institutions and part-time classes that allow you to do, like private places or colleges that allow you to rewrite your matric subjects. So that's an option. And I would encourage the learners to check on the internet. There's a whole world out there that is not just limited to the colleges and the schools in their area. With the internet and that, we've got huge access to online courses which are beneficial and much easier to get through once you've done, the initial attending of classes and so on, which they've done in 2015. And I think also to encourage the parents to get involved and maybe brothers and sisters or other experienced adults who have had some kind of experience in either studying or in the workplace. They should have quite good network of options available that they can advise people to follow. But they should not only look at the public institutions, because I've noticed, I was checking this morning in both the papers and on the internet, a lot of the public universities have said they are not taking walk-in students now. So if you've not been able to get into your degree that you'd applied for because your matric results aren't great, unfortunately, they're not going to allow you to just walk onto campus and apply to do another course. And I think that's probably just because of incidents that have happened in the past, and they are also really, really struggling to cope with the amount of students that are interested in applying for courses or doing courses at the universities. And therefore, learners should look at alternative private offerings or institutions. The private institutions are accredited, most of them, or they should be accredited. The courses they offered are very similar in structure to those at the public universities. And obviously, they may be slightly more expensive, but it's not always the case. And they offer an excellent alternative. They would normally have open door policy. You can walk in immediately, find out what they've got, and apply and so on. Because obviously the demand isn't as great as at a public university.